First, welcome. Thank you, everybody, for being part of this today. Pretty historic moment. I've been in mental health for 23 years, and this is just such a historic moment. We're getting ready to put the beam down, and everybody's probably wondering, like, what is this topping off ceremony? We planned on doing a groundbreaking ceremony at first, but COVID hit, right? And so we have some nice fancy shovels we might auction off after this. But we had it ready. They said, no, let's wait another couple months. And then finally somebody said, let's do this topping off ceremony. And for people who don't know, the topping off is this last beam that's going to be put into the structure. It's going to be an exposed beam, and it's got everybody's signature that was really helped commemorate this moment. So thank you, everybody, for being part of that. When we said we're going to have this topping off ceremony, one of the first things we started getting was staff response. And so we had an opening, and then the community came in, we signed the beam, and once it was over, I started getting emails and texts, and it's like, hey, I didn't get a chance to sign that beam. And the excitement around this truly is exceptional. So we're excited to have those people that honored this moment and really blessed this beam and put it in the new hospital is really a blessing to all of us. If anybody doesn't know, in the 1950s, this hospital was deemed the #1 hospital in the state, or in the country, actually. And so we look at this building back here, and it certainly is a building, but it's a state-of-the-art psychiatric hospital for the people of Ohio. That's something pretty tremendous, and it's something we're going to work back towards. We have the talent and the people within the walls now. Now we have a building that's going to match the power of our staff and our patients and the families and the community that supports us. So really, truly exciting time. A few people I want to recognize before we get to the speakers. Marissa Mckinstre. Thank you, Marissa, for allowing me to be able to lead during this time. Again, 23 years, not seeing anything like this built before is truly an honor. So the Deputy Director, thank you. Jonathan Baker, thanks for all the work you're doing in Central Office, truly helping us to get to this moment. And then a lot of this stuff can't be done without a historian. You got to understand where you came from to know where you're going. And the true historian we have, Bob Short. Thank you, Bob, for helping us through this. Two people I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about. That is Curtis Smith and Dave Blonic. These guys are behind the scenes making things work day in and day out, pouring in their hearts and souls in hours among hours into this project. Now for the speakers, we have Miss Lori Chris, the Director of Ohio Department of Mental Health. We also have Cheryl Lyman from OSCC. Thank you, Cheryl. Jim Smith from Elford. CEO from Jim. Thank you. Just met Jim. We talked a little bit about how do you create a structure like this in the middle of a pandemic when people aren't working. And he gave me a little bit behind the scenes, and man, what a tremendous honor to have your people working and continue to do this. And I know we did it already, but I see all our construction folks in the back. I wonder if we could just give them a round of applause. Thank you, guys and girls. Dan Herstein from Hassan Stab. He is the principal architect. And I'm looking for Dan. Dan, hey. Again, works like my entire career. Never dreamed about even trying to figure out what a building would look like. And your team doing it and really doing it right. So thank you. Definitely appreciate it. And then Terry Russell, the executive director from NAMI. He's probably not a bigger advocate in mental health in the country. And we thank Terry for his efforts and service. Immediately after the speakers, people are going to be out there to watch the beam. There's going to be a little bit of time if you have some one-on-one interviews or just some questions you'd like to ask afterward. So thank you again. I appreciate everybody's efforts and support in what we're doing. Director Chris.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I want to echo Frank's welcome to Twin Valley Behavioral Health, our current campus and our newly developing campus, and really take just a moment to reflect on everyone that's here and the critical role that you play in improving the lives of adults with serious mental illness. That's what Twin Valley is all about. That's what our regional psychiatric hospitals are all about. And, as Frank said, Terry Russell, being the leading champion for this work in Ohio, has really taught us a lot about how the quality of environment sends the message that you are valued, you are important, and how it helps a person feel like a person instead of a commodity. And that's what we're doing here today. That work is underway every day in all of our psychiatric hospitals. Quality, value, person-centered care, making sure that the individual is getting what they need. But this state-of-the-art facility that I'll talk a little bit more about in a minute is really a celebration of that and a visible demonstration of that value. To say the past year has been a challenge is an understatement, and I do want to take a minute to recognize how Ohio's behavioral health system rose to the challenge of meeting the needs of prevention, harm reduction, treatment, and recovery for Ohioans with substance use disorders and mental illness across the lifespan, youth, adults, older adults. And I do want to thank the team here at Twin Valley, Frank, your team, the extraordinary leadership that you demonstrated through the most uncertain of times. We had pandemic plans, and we never thought we'd have to use a pandemic plan, and we certainly did. And watching the grace and the tenacity and the excellence that this team here and at all of our psychiatric hospitals diligently entered each day with, our hospital leadership team at central office as well, to make sure that patients were not only physically healthy and safe in our environment, but also getting the highest quality of care. We did this with new requirements around infection control and PPE, but also challenges in staffing when there were times that people were out because of COVID too. And so I want to thank you all for that. And with the support of Governor Mike DeWine and Recovery Ohio and the General Assembly, we were able to make sure that we had the resources needed to remain open. And not just remain open, but to partner with the ADMH boards of the areas serving Ohio and the private psychiatric hospital capacity, the freestanding and the community hospitals, to make sure that people were able to quickly access care at times that we had to limit admissions or close admissions in our hospitals. And we've been so grateful for the opportunity to partner in new and different ways and truly meet the needs of Ohioans with inpatient care needs. I want to talk a little bit about the importance of inpatient care and the importance of our regional psychiatric hospitals specifically. Our Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services operates 6 regional psychiatric hospitals. And in addition to the site here, Twin Valley Behavioral Health, we have hospitals in Athens, Cincinnati, Massillon, Northfield, and Toledo. And this system employs about 90% of the department's employees, 2,400 people, working every day in, day out, around the clock to provide quality care. And this is a safety net for Ohioans with serious mental illness at times where they're having their most acute symptoms, their most acute care needs. They're meant to be short-term and high quality so that they can get reconnected to services and supports, or perhaps connected for the first time to services and supports in the community. And that's what our hospitals do. They serve about 6,000 to 7,000 men and women a year, and help people return to community and get connected to care so that they can live healthy and fulfilling lives outside of an institution. But it is a safety net. It's a hospital, acute care, like the physical healthcare system. We operate 6 of these hospitals. As we did have some reduced bed capacity throughout the past year, again, we have had the opportunity to partner with the private capacity in our system in new and different ways and build those relationships more strongly and those connections more strongly. And so we're grateful to them and to the community-based providers who helped with all of the discharge planning as well. And in the budget that was recently signed and enacted, we're grateful to Governor DeWine and the General Assembly for their continued support of our hospitals, the operating dollars that we need, in addition to these capital investments, to make sure that we're staffed correctly and meeting the high quality service demands of citizens of Ohio. Just a minute about this project here at Twin Valley. We're standing in a building known as COSAR, there's a couple of buildings on this campus. This is Kozar. It was built in the late 1970s. And it was originally designed as a geriatric hospital. So while this existing facility has provided hope and healing to tens of thousands of Ohioans since it was opened in the late 70s, we started to recognize that the building is no longer well suited for contemporary care. And after a long and thoughtful review, it seemed in our, with our partnership with the Facilities Commission and others, the remodeling of this facility was cost prohibitive, and it was wiser to invest capital funds into new construction. It better benefited the state of Ohio and our taxpayer dollars. So we did break ground in September of 2020 without a lot of fanfare, but with still a lot of excitement. And today's ceremony is a special milestone that we can all be together and recognize the progress that's being made. The frame that we see out there, the skeleton, will have all of the flesh and bones added to it and become a fully functional contemporary psychiatric care facility. And it will undoubtedly provide a solid foundation for Ohioans and their psychiatric care needs for decades to come. It is designed to be nearly 300,000 square feet. It will feature expanded capacity and the opportunity to expand in the future if necessary. So we'll have a total of 208 beds at this new hospital once it's open. It has state-of-the-art safety and security equipment. It will have private rooms so that there will be more privacy and individualized care for each patient as well. Bright, spacious common areas for therapeutic work as well. And we are so looking forward to opening this in the summer of 2023 and all being together again for that ribbon cutting ceremony and to celebrate and walk through the new facility. So thank you so much for celebrating this milestone today. I look forward to seeing you in 2 years back at the new spot that we'll be out there looking at today. And thank you for all of your contributions that have gotten us this far and that will take us into the future. Thank you.
Good morning, and Director Chris, what an exciting day. I'm Cheryl Lyman with the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, and I bring you greetings from the members of the commission. Just to be able to be together to celebrate a milestone is an amazing feeling. But to know the milestone we're celebrating is for this facility, what a significant contribution to the mental health of Ohioans. We are celebrating the structural framework and the completion of that part of the project, but it's also a celebration of the dedicated men and women who are in the construction industry. During a pandemic, as has been discussed earlier, there were some times when we were figuring out how this was going to happen. But I just want to take a moment to again thank the teams out here, day in and day out, who've been working on this facility. As the department's partner in the design and construction of this facility, I want to take a moment and recognize a couple of our staff. As you mentioned, this started with the idea this would be an addition. But with your staff, with our team, Melanie Drurup, our chief of planning, is here. And Tom Baker, who's been working with on the construction side in order to keep us on schedule, working with the teams. And this is a team effort. To get a facility this amazing built takes a full team of those of you who are professionals in behavioral health who identified what the needs are for a facility that can help promote healing. They say that construction is a lifelong legacy. Well, I think the legacy of this building will be the care and treatment of the men and women who will be served by this facility. We're excited to be a part of it. We're so excited to be part of this day. And I just want to say thank you.
Morning, everybody. Jim Smith, I'm the CEO of Elford Construction, and when someone asked me this morning, is this ever get, customary? Does it ever get, standard? I've been doing this for 40 years, and there's so much excitement about what our teams do each and every day. It's never boring. It is always exciting. And so on behalf of Elford and our partner G. Stevens, Director Chris, I want to say thank you, and Director Lyman and your teams for including us in this great adventure. Currently today we have 160 men and women out there on the site, and at peak we'll top out around 350. And they have fought through a lot over the last year, and I'm really proud of each and every one of them and all the men and women behind the scene. One of the unique things you'll see in this project is we're doing a lot of off-site construction to help speed up the process. So there's a lot of men and women working in factories, assembling the exterior walls and the mechanical runs that run down through the building. And my heart beats a little faster when I see things like that, because that's cool change, and that gets us to your goal and to live your vision. Because trust me, this team understands why we're building this building. We believe in understanding the mission of our customers, because it adds to the care that they take each time they're laying placing a piece of concrete or laying in pipe and putting in conduit and wiring to make sure those systems are exactly installed the way you want them to serve your customers. So we're really blessed and honored to be here. A couple of our key partners, we got G. Stevens, who's with us. We got TP Mechanical. We got Mid-City Electric. We got George Steel and Columbus Steel Erectors, who are erecting the steel, and Thompson Concrete and Site Work. Those are our key partners today. Those are our key partners that have got us here since September. Those are the men and women who have worked through the challenges and the supply chain issues and just the world issues to get us here today. But I really want to thank, on top of that, getting here today takes years of collaboration in the planning process. And with the department, with OFCC, and our design partner, Hazenstadt, the collaboration to get to this point, to get the job started, is an incredible feat. There's a lot of work that happens there. So it can't happen without great leadership and great teamwork and great cultures of all those organizations coming together. So we're really blessed and excited to continue to work hard for you and serve the great state of Ohio. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dan Hursting with Hazenstadt.
Good morning. I'm Dan Hursting with Hazenstadt Architects. I'm a principal architect at Hazenstadt. And again, thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this project. It's an exciting day for all of us as we set the final beam on what will be a state-of-the-art facility for the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. When the new Twin Valley Hospital is complete in 2023, it will have increased in size from approximately 185,000 square feet to 270,000 square feet. It will increase from 6 patient units to 8 patient units. It will have increased from 176 patient beds to 208 patient beds. It will increase private room offerings to 144, which is about 70% of the total beds will now be private rooms to improve patient care. It will have increased on-unit treatment and social spaces. With this increased capacity, the department and the Twin Valley Hospital staff will be able to serve more members of the Central Ohio community that are in need of these mental health services. The design of the new hospital has incorporated lessons learned from all of the state hospitals in the past, and it also incorporates best practices in current behavioral health care design. Design used a few key principles to set up Twin Valley for success in the future of treating their patients. The first one is connection, and that is spaces that allow patients to connect with other patients, with the staff, and with nature. We've done that by creating multiple treatment areas, more social spaces, and it's like a good example would be a day room, where instead of one large day room, we have multiple smaller ones that allow patients choice throughout their daily routine and a part of their treatment process. The next design principle was respite, calm and soothing spaces. You mentioned earlier about the private rooms, and we said we're up to 70%. Those private rooms give patients the opportunity for respite. Also those multiple social spaces. And we also included several staff spaces to retreat and recharge to throughout the hospital. So it's not just the patients, it's the staff that we've thought about in this design. The next principle was nature, views and access to nature and the outdoors. When you look at the design and you get an opportunity to walk around the building, the patient units are designed at angles, and that is to give more opportunity to views to nature, the adjacent wooded areas. There's also 3 outdoor secured courtyards to give the patients the opportunity to go out, breathe in the fresh air, and soak in the sun. That really enhances their treatment and their care. Another principle to the design was visibility. The design incorporates centralized nurse stations. That allows them enhanced visibility to all the adjacent social spaces, the dining area, and the patient corridors. That enhanced visibility creates uninterrupted staff sight lines and increases safety and security, which leads us right into the next principle, safety and security. Director Chris had mentioned this facility has incorporated all the latest security and safety features for behavioral health. Some of those are that increased visibility, minimizing blind spots. We've taken the patient units and put them back to back so that shared staff support and shorter distances for response teams are incorporated into this to help different units assist in the care of the patients. And the final one was product selection. And we put in front of Twin Valley and Dave's staff quite a few products that are specifically designed for behavioral health and evaluated their safety, the security, and their ligature-resistant features to make sure that we were specifying the most current and the best products for the patients of Twin Valley. These key design features guided the design team, which included the department and Twin Valley staff. We were very fortunate to work with strong and dedicated team members from both the department and Twin Valley, which included Jonathan Baker, Curtis Smith, David Blonic, and many more. They were all instrumental in leading the way for the department and the hospital. And also, it was key that they brought in all the appropriate stakeholders and staff members at critical moments in the design to make sure that this was the best overall design possible, not only for the patients, but for the staff. Again, we are very thankful to be a part of your journey, and we truly look forward to the Twin Valley staff moving into this great facility in 2023 and better serving your community.
I'm Terry Russell, Director of National Alliance of Mental Illness of Ohio, representing families and those living with mental illness throughout the state. And I just can't thank, I may get emotional here because you'll hear some why we do that. But Lori, the staff, the CEO here, everybody, for having families be able to be represented and those living with this illness be represented. In the late part of the 19th century, Dorothea Dix advocated for state hospital system throughout the country. She went to legislature after legislature after legislature. Hundreds of hospitals were built, 12 here in the state of Ohio. So much had changed during this century. In 1957, I was 13 years old when I walked into the Columbus State Hospital right here. I had a brother 15 years older than me living here, being served here. I still see the bars on the windows, the linoleum floors, and the large wards with people walking around. I truly believe that during one of those visits, God put his hand on my shoulder and brought me into this field. I truly believe it was during as I entered the latter part of my career, I cannot overstate how proud I am to be here today representing those living with the illness and their families. For the past 23 years, I've been the executive director of Non-Neural. I've met thousands who have used this hospital, and their families have been here visiting like I did. Let us all today celebrate not only the future of this hospital that will save lives, but also remember all of those lives that have been in the past that have been saved with the hospitals that are here before. On behalf of the 500,000 Ohio citizens I represent, it is a privilege for me to thank all those working in this hospital. You are often not given the credit you deserve. You are our heroes. Unfortunately, those working in these hospitals years ago are often maligned. I believe they were every bit as dedicated as those working today. All of you are the heroes of those living with mental illness and their families. And I thank you. Let me end by saying, as we look at the future, it will be my prayer that this hospital be used less and less, and more people will recover in the community. When it turns out, when we need to turn our attention to the community system, it must be personal centered so that every individual who has this illness are served. All of us can save lives. But maybe more realistically save lives, we can lessen the pain of these illnesses and to their families. It is a mean illness. We must fight every individual. We must fight that every individual living with mental illness is respected. No one chooses to have a mental illness. No family wants their loved one to have a mental illness. Therefore, we must do everything to lessen the stigma that is so unfair to those I represent. Dorothea Dix would be smiling today. All of us should be smiling today with her. This facility will save lives. God bless all of you who have worked here. Thank you.